Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. Please enjoy this video on the Political Voices Network.
Let's talk real quick about, so a private investigator hired by a group of MAGA loyalists in Michigan has been granted immunity in the state's election interference case. Some are saying this development could be enough to nail two Trump loyalists charged in the case. They were accused of taking voting data and giving it to digital forensic investigator. That data to try to prove that Trump won, obviously. So he's now been given immunity, which in federal cases and in Michigan, so he can no longer plead the fifth, must give details on the stand. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, the only time prosecutors tend to give immunity is when there is some really blockbuster evidence that we want to be able to use against bigger criminal fish. And for whatever reason, we can't get it by way of entering into a guilty plea with cooperation agreement. So we will simply immunize the witness and say, now you are compelled to provide it to us, but you can't be prosecuted for it. Think about this. That's what they did for David Pecker. They gave him basically a non-prosecution agreement, which is a form of immunity. And how blockbuster did his evidence turn out to be, even though he was never prosecuted? Really important when going after the bigger criminal fish. So immunity is disfavored among prosecutors because we want to hold people accountable for their crimes and then get the incriminating information they have. But sometimes we resort to immunity when the information is really important.
Yeah, that Pecker leaked. I tell you what.
Oh, Ms. Miller.
If he did it at night, would it be nocturnal emissions? I'm just asking legal questions of our legal lad.
Do you see the look on Chris's face?
You don't have to answer that, Glenn.
Do not answer that.
He'll answer tomorrow at Sexy
As
Liberal.
his lawyer, do not answer that,
He gets all
Mr.
saucy
Kirschner.
and funny at Sexy Liberal. You let him loose. So, Glenn, a couple of things you tweeted about. You said Trump is trying to use his flunkies in Congress to try to undo his New York criminal conviction. I wonder if a New York grand jury would be inclined to view that as Trump obstructing justice. I swear to God, I feel like he does it hourly. So what do you think about that one?
So what I think about it is when I see the Jim Jordans and the MAGA Mike Johnsons of the world weaponizing Congress to try to assist Donald Trump to get away with his crimes by hook or by crook, that smells like obstruction of justice. It smells like an abuse of their governmental power. If I were a district attorney, I would simply be in the grand jury presenting evidence of it to see if the grand jurors decided there was enough evidence that a crime was committed and that a particular person or people committed it, and then I would ask them to vote out indictments. That's the way the system works.
Okay. Also, I forgot about this one. New York court, you tweeted New York's highest court makes it a clean sweep. Every judge in every court has rejected Trump's attempts to toss his various gag orders. Next up, Eileen Cannon. So that's another, when is, I can't keep track of what today.
That's today.
She's
That's
also,
today as well. So
okay.
It's both, she's basically putting Jack Smith on trial today. When have we seen this before? Remember
Fani Willis?
District Attorney Fani Willis?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She's prosecuting Donald Trump, so they're going to put her on trial. Fortunately, she won. Now Judge Cannon is doing another form of that. And here's the thing, Steph. She's not even requiring Donald Trump to be in the damn courtroom today when defendants in criminal cases are almost always required to be in the courtroom every minute of their criminal prosecution. She's like, no. He can go out and campaign while I put Jack Smith on trial. We're living in the legal upside down, Steph.
Yeah. Can I ask, I saved this for you real quick because Matt Gaetz is going through some stuff.
Yeah.
But the one question we had, once again, is what happened to the DOJ? Because obviously they had Joel Greenberg's Venmo records and all that, and he pled guilty and implicated Gaetz. So now this new, obviously the once again, like the J6 committee, Congress is hearing testimony from all of these women and also the committee obtained Gaetz's records, that could help give them a roadmap for payments he may have made when he was friends with Goldberg. Why didn't the DOJ have Gaetz's Venmo records if they had Greenberg's?
This is a great question, Steph. And remember how during the January 6th House Select Committee hearings, that seemed to sort of move the Department of Justice to actually dig in and begin criminally investigating some folk. It feels like maybe that's happening again with Matt Gaetz. But here's the thing. Listen, I criticize my former professional home, DOJ, when I have to. But here's my take on the Gaetz thing. Joel Greenberg was such a bad, incredible cooperating witness that, notwithstanding what DOJ did, they prosecuted him, they got his cooperation, they tried to clean him up and make him credible to a trial jury. The rumblings are he just kept lying and lying and lying. And there comes a point in time when prosecutors cannot put somebody like that on the stand. Why? Because the cooperator stink blows back on the prosecutors. If you try to present to the jury somebody who you cannot convince to tell the truth and be credible, and I think that may be why they ultimately didn't believe they could proceed with a guy like Joel Greenberg as their star witness.
Yeah. Let's do legal improv now. Yes, and Matt Gaetz is guilty. Allegedly. Okay. Is that too long a pause?
Yeah.
Okay.
A little long.
Glenn, just before we go, I just, this one January 6th rioter guilty of beating a cop so hard he snapped the flagpole in half. As if those of us who actually love America and actually are patriots weren't aggrieved enough to see our Capitol policemen being beaten with American flags. I mean, this is why I keep saying there has to be accountability, as you always say, from the boots up to the suits, because some of these people, they're running for Congress, these Capitol rioters. I think, thank God, in a couple of places they've lost. But you know what? This is just a practice run, this first coup. If we don't, somehow find accountability for all these people.
Yeah, Donald Trump's angry mob that he inspired and incited to attack the Capitol on January 6th weren't backing the blue. They were beating the blue.
Right.
And a vote for Donald Trump is, and Donald Trump said he will pardon those patriots, those heroes who beat the hell out of our police officers. A vote for Donald Trump is a vote in favor of people who assault police officers at the command of Donald Trump. And let me finish with this. You're absolutely right. We're still doing a pretty good job holding the boots of the insurrection accountable. The folks that Donald Trump told to go to the Capitol and stop the certification, stop the steal. But we haven't. The Department of Justice has not held accountable a single suit of the insurrection, the hierarchy, the command structure, not one. That is a disgraceful dereliction of duty by the Department of Justice not to have charged any of the suits of the insurrection. And here we are bumping up against another presidential election.
This tweet, Glenn Kirschner has a message for the American people. You just have two boxes on the ballot, democracy or dictatorship. Which one are you going to check?
Oh.
We will answer that question tomorrow night in Denver at the Paramount Theater with Glenn Kirschner on panelsexyliberal.com. Thanks, honey.
Safe travels, Glenn.
Safe travels.
See you tomorrow.
Can't wait to see you guys.
All right.
See ya.
There we go.
Hey all, Glenn Kirschner here. I hope you'll join me on my new audio podcast, Justice Matters. I'll be using my 30 years as a federal prosecutor and Army JAG to unpack, break down, and explain the legal issues of the day, particularly where the legal intersects with the political. Please look for Justice Matters with Glenn Kirschner wherever you generally get your podcasts.